Today is March 2nd, the rundown. Let's start with Braun, my boy Braun. So he missed like 6,000 free throws yesterday. The Cavs lost to the Rockets. He scored 35, but he took like 6,000 shots. A lot of people could say it was his fault they lost. It happens to everybody. But then he went and took a mirror selfie and wrote himself like this long note with his typical strive for greatness mumbo jumbo. Both of you guys blogged it. We'll start with you, KFC.
When I saw it last night, I declared it like the lamest thing I think I've ever seen a superstar of his caliber do. That makes RG3 look like a tough guy when it comes to his social media posts. The pouty face, the denim shirt. And then you know who I hate even more than him are the people on Instagram who comment like, "Keep your head up, Braun. Don't worry about it, Braun. You're the man, Braun." Shut the fuck up. You got to be the biggest loser ever to try to comfort this gazillionaire athlete. But the whole thing I thought was lame.
Big Cat?
I don't like LeBron, but I loved this move. It was laugh out loud funny. Now, I'll say this. It's not the right laugh that, LeBron's looking for pity. I'm laughing at him. But it was hilarious. He's just emo LeBron. He's the guy. He's when your girlfriend sighs in your ear and you're like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "Nothing." And then he mopes around a bunch and everyone's like, he's just looking for the internet to do exactly what they did, Kevin, and be like, "Oh, keep your head up, LeBron. It's going to be okay. You're going to be fine." Like, emo LeBron.
My question is, I have a Big Cat question. At times in the past rundowns, you've said, and maybe even KFC has said it, you enjoy watching him play. When he plays well, you enjoy it. You still enjoy when he's doing well watching this guy?
There's two things. One is you have a tendency to push us to defend things we'd never defend because you're so rationally crazy about everything. So that's part of why I've sort of in a weird way defended LeBron at times, because your insanity pushes everyone else to try to bring everything back down to earth. So that's number one. Number two is it's not that I enjoy it. It's just that I can appreciate every now and then when he's going for 50 out of nowhere. Like the other night when he played Golden State. The NBA is all-time best right now. There's so much talent. We forgot how good LeBron was. And then he went and just dropped a monster night on Golden State and Steph Curry. And I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot he's the best player in the world.
The word for it is appreciate. It's not like I'm getting off watching the Cavs and watching LeBron be good. I don't care about whether they win or lose. But when you start bashing him, Dave, it's usually all he does is flop, all he does is complain, he chokes, and there's a lot more to his game that should be, respected.
This is a nice little trick that you two do, because I've never said, at least not in many years, that he's not great. I've said he drives me nuts. And when you say I go overboard, I don't go overboard. Everything I say about him, he asks for. We're talking about ridiculous shit like we are today. And unlike you two, when I despise somebody, when I hate them with every fiber of my being, when I see them do well, it makes me want to puke and I hate them more. There's not a second of me.
You are going to talk to me? You're going to talk to me about not hating people enough and not being physically sick from other people doing well? That's my entire life.
So then what's your fucking problem?
I don't know why you
what's
have
your
that.
Problem, O'Hare? I hate LeBron. I guess, do you appreciate Brady when he's playing great?
No, but it makes sense that I hate Brady as much as I do. It doesn't make sense that you hate LeBron as much as you do.
LeBron, you
one series with the Cavs.
One series? What are you talking about?
We've had this. This is we're basically replaying the rundown from this summer.
But all right, I'll replay it. I have no problem. That's another thing. I can play songs over and over, and I never get sick of them. I'll listen and listen and listen. I don't get played out. But what do you mean the Celtics have had one series with LeBron? That's just totally false.
I know. I'm exaggerating. I don't think that the Celtics versus LeBron was enough of this rivalry in your head for you to be this fixated on hating him.
It's not just that. It's everything he's done in his career that makes him the biggest chump on the planet, whether it's he can't jump off a diving board, whether he wears King James t-shirts around, whether he needs LeBron, Dwayne Wade to tell him when he can make a joke, when it's $20,000 to get your birthday party, or this fucking thing. I'm not insane on him. He's legitimately one of the most hateable athletes in the history of the world.
See, I disagree. He does a lot of things that are very hateable, but he's like not a bad person. He's not a scumbag. He's like by every. There's so many like asshole, like real bad guys out there, and he's not one of them. I agree. He's lame as shit. He's calculated. He's a dweeb at times. He annoys you at times, but he's not like a really bad person.
Yeah, and neither is Peyton Manning. But neither is Peyton Manning. But I hate Peyton Manning.
If you weren't around, I would absolutely hate him more.
Yeah, I would too. That's my point.
Okay. Well, that's sad. You know what? It's just sad that I force you guys to change your hands.
Yeah, it is sad.
It is sad.
Because you're right. It is sad. Also, I know you just said that you can play the same song over and over. You don't care if we have the same argument. We are doing the rundown not for us. It's for like the viewers who probably don't want to watch.
No, I almost do everything for my own accord. Almost everything. This is speaking of doing the same thing over and over and over. We did talk about this already. It's still going though. Schilling now has basically upped the ante on these mean tweets about his daughter. Now some of them are way over the line. Like that bloody sock reminds me of her. Like period when I like rip my dick in her and shit like that. Way over the line. Just gross shit. But he is now like basically cyber stalking people who say mean stuff and then like emailing people's coaches, teachers, parents. And he wrote this long blog. It kind of sounded like he thought he was standing up for America. My stance really hasn't changed. Like he has the moral high ground, but at the same time, he's talking about how much he knows social media and he just doesn't because there's always going to be assholes. It's turning into a big story because he's making a big story. KFC, what do you got?
Curt Schilling just shouldn't be on Twitter. I mean, the fact that he's trying to act like he's the social media expert, he's the furthest thing from that. He's really fucking this up. But Boston fans should be ashamed of themselves. This guy should be bulletproof. The fact that anybody is saying anything bad about Curt Schilling, anybody in Boston, anybody who's a Red Sox fan, should have nothing bad to say about this guy forever for breaking the curse.
Yeah, wait.
If I ever root for a team, if I ever have the pleasure of rooting for a guy like Schilling and bringing a title to my city, I would never say a bad word about him.
Wait, but a quick clarification. Two things. Do you consider what I said bad about him?
No.
So it's not Red Sox fans.
Valid criticism about social media.
I don't think it's Red Sox fans. It's like Yankee fans and shit who are doing it.
All right. No, that's fine. All I'm saying is if you're a Boston fan and you're giving shit to Schilling, that's fucked up.
Yeah, I don't think the majority of people are Red Sox fans. Big Cat?
So I think we need to clarify something here. Curt Schilling might be a loser, but these people on Twitter are the biggest losers in the world. And I think that when we bash Schilling for being an idiot on the internet, it almost makes the troll losers seem like they're winning, but they're not. They are the worst. They're the biggest losers here. The guys who sit on the internet and like specifically are just replying to tweets to try to rile up an old guy and his daughter. Those people are scum of the earth. There's no other. You can't write it any other way. My favorite part of his like whole blog though, he said that he's been on computers since 1981. That's just a fucking lie. And there's no chance. I remember the first computer I was on. It was like 1994 at maybe the earliest with like the floppy disk drives and Oregon Trail. There's no chance he's had a computer since 1981. So that I took offense to, and I'd appreciate Curt Schilling not lie to my face like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. 89, I was 12. So I definitely wasn't.
Yeah, Curt Schilling, I think he sort of said he invented the computer.
You know,
That's like when the government had computers back then. Like,
Curt Schilling basically said he was using one of those like 7,000-ton calculators that was like technically the first computer.
Yeah, it's a fair point. That one slid on me. That's a really fair point. I will say I agree with everything you said, Big Cat. And I said that in the blog. I mean, I'm like, this guy deserves to be eviscerated. My only thing with it is it doesn't, and I use this example, it doesn't matter whether it's the marathon bombings, when PK Subban scored against the Bruins. Twitter is such a massive vehicle. There's going to be assholes who are assholes. Like to pick out 5 to 10 doesn't really prove anything because it's uniform across the board, every subject. And if you say 17-year-old girl, you're gonna get that. Ronda Rousey. So did you either of you guys? Well,
how did you fuck up the name of Ronda?
I just said Ronda Rousey.
You said Ronda Rousey.
Did either of you guys watch this fight live, or did you just see it after?
Just saw the GIF afterwards.
Yeah, all you needed was the Vine.
Yeah, so Twitter went bananas and social media when she won. I saw a lot of people saying she's like the Tyson of MMA. Couple ways to look at it. First of all, I'm sick of those comparisons. I don't know. There can't be more than 200 MMA women in the world. So she's the best. Second, and this is, it's like kind of a juvenile locker talk type thing. Would you last longer in bed or in the ring versus Rousey? But it's actually a very legitimate question. Like, aside from it being juvenile, it's a real fucking question. Big Cat, what do you got?
So the first one, I saw your blog. I agree with you that calling her the Mike Tyson is a little ridiculous. A better analogy, I saw you use like the Doyle Brunson.
Yeah.
It's also like when they didn't let black people play any of the professional sports. I mean, you can't say those guys were the best of the best when you just didn't let a lot of people, in the infancy of baseball and the infancy of basketball and all these games when it was, not the best of the best. So clearly, like, MMA hasn't tapped all the athletes it can tap. So like you said, you can't just say she's the Tyson. How much does she weigh?
Don't know.
Pull it up.
But I think mine's better than poker. I mean, anyone can play. It's just before poker was popular, the World Series of Poker, you beat like 30 people. And you got a bracelet.
So how much does she weigh? She weighs like what, 130?
135.
Okay, so yeah, I would last
135.
I'd last longer in the ring. I'd just sit on her, honestly. Like, I don't know if that's a move you can do, but I would just like hug her and sit on her.
MMA people would say though, then she'd put like your pinky toe in some sort of submission hold, and you'd just be sitting on her, and then your toe would get ripped off.
I'm like twice her weight. Like, I would suffocate her, just be sitting on her. I'd suffocate her in both arenas, the bed and the ring.
KFC.
Yeah, I think the Tyson stuff is silly, but it is kind of cool that she's just murdering chicks in like under 10 seconds. Like, especially now that it's been so well established, I want to see like the next chick who has the balls to step in the ring, because obviously this chick is a fucking nightmare. I think I would last longer in bed. Not saying that I would give a good performance, but I think I'm more well versed in like closing my eyes and trying to make sure I don't come. Whereas I am not skilled at all in the octagon. So I think, just start thinking of your grandma, start thinking of your dog dying. No matter whose pussy your dick is in, you can last. In the octagon, she would just straight up destroy me.
I went with the octagon because I actually think if I train my one skill, I don't think she'd be able to take me down that easily. I think I think I'm pretty good at like staying on my feet, and I think until I ran out of breath. And then once I ran out of breath.
That's quick. You lose your breath quickly, admittedly, your own admission.
Yeah, but that just shows I'm horrible in bed. So I can think of all those other things. That doesn't always even work. And I'm not even that attracted to her. But that's are you guys attracted to her?
For an MMA fighter. You know what I mean? Like, for a nasty chick who beats people up, she's more attractive than usual, but that's a big caveat,
Yeah. I see this one on here. I don't really have much to add for it. Bieber turns 21. Shockingly quiet on the 21 front. I expected like arrests and crazy shit. I haven't really heard much.
He's a good boy now, right?
Yeah, maybe that's it. I don't even know that.
By the way, just to clarify, I'm in New York. I'm at K. Marco's apartment right now. That's not my dog. Before everyone blames me, that is not my dog.
Because he's riled up for tomorrow.
That was Duncan who made that noise? Yeah, we have, for those wondering, tomorrow is the inaugural Barstool Dog Show in New York City. Myself, we have Duncan, we have Britt McHenry's dog, Foxy, who will be represented by Nate, and we have Feidelberg. I don't know what Feidelberg's doing, whether he's bringing both of them or one.
Boys,
bring them both.
Yeah.
Both. I don't know if that's legal. And then we have Katie Nolan and Sydney Esiason as the judges. Anyways, moving on. A couple of these, I was running around getting stuff for the competition. The Phillies lost to Tampa. I have nothing to say about this. Big Cat?
The University of Tampa, like, that's not a real school, right? That's they just take kids who can't get into like Arizona State and Florida State and who are probably better baseball players, and they throw them on that school, right? So I mean, and Phillies probably threw out scrubs, and this was their World Series. So I'm I'm not saying that the Phillies aren't bad because they are, but it's not that crazy of a story in my mind.
Yeah, me neither. KFC?
There's always a story like this every spring training where like a college gives somebody a run for their money. I just love seeing the Phillies be terrible.
Last one. This GIF, sneaky, like every time I watched it, I laughed louder and studied it harder. This NASCAR worker, I still don't understand what he did or what's going on because people trip and fall all the time. This guy didn't trip and fall. This guy had some sort of problem with his feet or his legs or his shoes. Like, he couldn't run. There's a difference. Like, he just... do you guys know what happened here, Big Cat?
It was like a combination of the Don Baylor leg, and I don't know if you remember this one, but the video guy at a Bulls-Pacers preseason game who sat on his leg and tried to walk when it fell asleep. It was like a weird combination of the two of them where he was kind of injured but not injured, and it also looked like a real sniper. It looked like a war movie, and he was like they were going to drag him into the bus.
KFC?
You got to know when like you're just losing the battle to gravity and just go down. You know, like he's stumbling and trying to regain his footing, and it's just not going to happen. Just fall and get back up, guy.
It looked like his feet were like in cement or something. It was just the weirdest. Like he wasn't stumbling. He just couldn't run. It was very odd.
Did you see also, Hank, you got to include this into the rundown, the Kevin McHale vine that I posted? No. That was like hilarious. He was walking, he walked like 3 feet and just like so much pain and was so gassed that he just like stumbled over and like had his hands on his knees. He just couldn't handle it. Like his feet are so mangled. He can't walk 3 feet anymore. It was so sad. It was like an old dad.
That is the March 2nd rundown. I guess tomorrow we'll probably do some sort of live rundown since we'll be in New York and then head back here. Anything else? Any after show? On that? Nope. That's the rundown.